Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. We want to thank our newest patrons.
Indeed, we want to say a huge thank you to Miss Nikki, Kinez, Ernest, and Crypto Immortal. You guys, you help keep us going and make it possible.
Absolutely. In the future, we envision that there will be no more money system like it is for those people that want to get outside the system and be free, but there will be an energy exchange. There really needs to be, in order to be fair and even, an energy exchange. Certainly nothing like what we have in this system, where you have these parasitic entities that feed off of everything. So we did this video yesterday talking about the quote-unquote rocket strike that destroyed a hospital. Pandora's box has been opened and there's no turning back. Yeah, I would still agree with that. You know, this is a major escalation. Here we see, this is Marjorie Taylor Greene. Last night, Capitol Police put up bike racks because of expected pro-Palestinian protests today and intel that members of Congress will be targeted. They told members of Congress to stay inside and use only underground tunnels. She says the Biden administration wants to go to war and she is for peace.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I mean, I've heard a lot about everyone talking about blowing up underground tunnels, but there's still underground tunnels everywhere. I think everything that they say on the news, everything that is for consumption, any ounce of information is really got to be subject. I know a lot of people want to believe in, you know, that the deep state is going to go down. But no, everybody's in on it. Everybody.
Yeah. You know, and thankfully we don't see a lot of that term, because I don't think that term is big enough. I mean, I kind of view when people say deep state, they're thinking that there's just a shadow government within the U.S. government. There's a shadow government within all governments. And, you know, what we see are just actors, really. When you think about it, and we see these actors in Hollywood, you know, spouting in a belief in human-induced climate change and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we are getting in danger here, even just talking about this, because they took down a video on EEARTS. And again, they just simply say it goes against policies. They don't tell you what specific spot. Whatever it is that you said or did is, you know, basically broaching those policies. No, they never give you an explanation. And the reason why we've been stuck at 66,000 on Evolutionary for the longest time is when you get to 100,000, you actually get to talk to a human as far as subscribers. And so they keep us from that level. And we know it won't, you know, be allowed to go much higher. And the same thing with EEARTS. They've kept it below 20,000, slowly climbing just one tiny little step at a time. Thankfully, though, our goals are not about the system's goals. Our goals are, you know, watching the system really collapse upon itself so that we could actually get something in place that's going to be truly benevolent and not malevolent. Actually, maybe it's more aptly described malignant, because the system is very malignant. As you see, Biden and Netanyahu meet in Israel and he's falling asleep, of course. This is all for show too. I mean, look at him. He's just, you know, it is all for show. It is all for show. Let's listen to what he has to say.
You know, years ago I asked the Secretary of State when he and I were working in the Senate to write something for him, and he said, he wrote a line that I think is appropriate. He said, it's not, we lead, not just, well, I won't go into it, I'll wait later.
This is what he does all the time. And again, you got to realize, act like you're senile. It won't be hard for you. You could do it. Act like you're senile. Act like you're on your last breath. Well, he does a pretty good job. Meanwhile, we have Netanyahu here condemning Hamas for the attack on the Gaza hospital. that resulted in, they say, 2,000 civilian deaths. Anywhere from 500 to 2,000 is what we're seeing. And you do have people that are saying, okay, well, here's the proof. Look it, this was released by the IDF. It's two guys talking, and they're talking about this event. I mean, how gullible do you think we are? And that might get this video taken down. You know, because again, I'm not really sure exactly what it was that triggered that video getting taken down, but I think it's just getting to the point where the power shift is going to happen. We are going to find ourselves under control like Chinese citizens. You know, so you just don't speak up, otherwise you're finding yourself next door neighbor to a Uyghur in a camp somewhere.
Yes, they're going to teach you different ways so that you know better, you know, but a lot of people are looking at Biden and thinking that it's, oh, this is so ridiculous, and they're very, very upset, and how could we do this, and poor America. But when you switch it and you understand that this is deliberate, this is what he's doing, I mean, the anger kind of dissipates when you know how deliberate everything really is.
It's completely. And then you have this doctor in front of mounds of dead bodies and dead body parts. The director of Palestinian hospital that was just bombed said that Israel reached out to them and said, we warned you yesterday with 2 bombs. Why have you not evacuated the hospital until this moment? You know, again, people have taken sides, and unfortunately, and this is the hospital, and this is film that was shot the day before the bombing, showing some of the people that were probably lost. And again, I think that, you know, there's chance that, again, people would be filming this knowing that tomorrow it's going to get struck totally. And that they're filming this just to, again, incite people to get angry and to do things they wouldn't normally do. And, you know, this is how the system works. The system plays both sides. So when we see Israel blaming, you know, Hamas, and Hamas blaming Israel at the highest levels, they are working together at the highest levels. You know, this is the big reveal, because they want to bring about this world war right now, because, you know, too much is being understood by the population. So you have a black flag that's been raised over Razavi Shrine in Mashhad, and this is in Iran. Now, this can be taken as a call for war or vengeance or simply mourning. And so, again, it depends on what people want to focus on as to what this is. Is it war and vengeance, or is it mourning? Is it all three? Likely it's all three, probably. As we see numerous embassies, this is being attacked. This is Turkish mob attacking Israeli consulate building in Istanbul. And as Marjorie Taylor Greene had said, they were warned it's going to get rougher. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a list. Beirut, Lebanon, pro-Palestinian protesters swarm U.S. embassy. Reports of tear gas and fires being lit. Istanbul, we covered. Iran, President Raisi threatens the flames of U.S.-Israeli bombs will soon consume Israel. Well, that's actually what he said was that he talked about Israeli bombs consuming Iran and Syria if they don't act. Amman, Jordan, Israeli embassy reportedly stormed by a mob. Tehran, massive crowd forms outside British embassy. Baghdad reports of massive protests. Yeah, you know, again, whatever will work to get the world looking away from the real controllers and, again, keep it mad at each other. And this is in Barcelona, protesters attacking police. And I believe they're Americans up in the hotel looking down, or in an apartment building looking down, and they're just flabbergasted. You know, they don't know what to make out of this. But again, when you look to Nostradamus' prophecies, he talks all about the illegal immigrants coming in and burning certain cities down to the ground. So, you know, from that position, it's to be expected. Timelines can change. Again, Alois Ermeiler said that it really starts at harvest time. The war really starts at harvest time. Do you think we could go to like another October before it starts? I don't know. It doesn't seem too likely. And then we got all the energy of the eclipses. We have, you know, again, the Pluto return of the U.S. There's so many things in position that tell us that, you know, yes, this is the beginning of the true chaos.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, just for a moment, could you go back to where they're showing the children in the hospital the day before that bombing? And I'm watching these children, watching these people, looking at their clothes. This is a war-torn country. People are supposed to be exhausted. Children are, the water is turned off. No electricity, supposedly. And they're in their Sunday best. I mean, their hair is perfect. To me, it does look staged. I might get hung for this, but it does. I mean, these children look like they were deliberately they knew they were going to be on camera.
Yeah, that is a fabulous, you know, that was great because, yeah, I mean, the bombs are flying. This is supposedly yesterday. And everybody looks happy as can be with the bombs flying. Are they being distracted by the parents? Maybe, but it doesn't fit the bill. Again, it does look like it's part of the drama. This is what they're doing. This is exactly what they do. I mean, yeah, it's the whole world is indeed a stage. I think, again, the movie 1984 shows it perfectly. Yeah. They take these headlines, they take a headline from 40 years ago and they just tweak it and they update it, they rehash it, they put in new actors' photos. And I don't want to say these, and again, I want to reiterate, people really die. They're not just all crisis actors that don't die. That's insane to believe. No, part of what they try to do is keep the death and destruction at high level. Because again, all that misery, all that chaos ends up feeding certain entities. So if it was all an illusion, you know, again, that wouldn't feed the entities. No, absolutely. They're not all crisis actors, but at the same time, things absolutely are staged and they're mixed in there. And, you know, again, the death and destruction is real, but there's also a very real purpose. So Iran embassy in Syria posted time is up as the Middle East descends into chaos. Yeah, and you see he's pushing 45 there. Everybody has their take on things. Massive protests happening in Montreal right now condemning the Israeli bombing. Again, everybody has their opinion on this, and if you are, you know, still fully indoctrinated in a religious mindset, you're just going to take a side and it's very predictable which side you're going to take. There is only one solution, Intifada revolution. This is in Toronto. It's they're two of the biggest cities in Canada. And here you see police shoot and apprehend the suspect accused of killing 2 Swedish soccer fans on a Brussels street. You know, again, that energy from that person felt very, very much, well, it felt like there was, I'm hesitant to say it, but again, he has the feel of a lot of the alphabet soups all about him. Let's just say that. Demented, Putin threatens the U.S. carrier strike groups. Aha. Please be advised that my following message is not a threat, but rather an update based on my instructions to Russian aerospace forces. Will commence permanent patrols in neutral airspace above the Black Sea. Well, that's not the Mediterranean, that's the Black Sea. But let's see what else he says here. Our MiG-31 planes are equipped with Kinzhal systems. You know, the thing is, which have a speed of Mach 9, that's very, very fast, and a range of over 1,000 kilometers. So, you know, the thing is, Cindy's been picking up on the sacrifice of the fleet for a long time, and there are prophecies that speak about a great fleet being destroyed, and that also bringing about a new escalation in WW3.
You'll have to forgive me. I'm so sorry if this is like really stupid. But when he says, because my brain cannot figure out the layout of the planet, and you're so good at it. But when he says they're going to be over neutral airspace above the Black Sea, and their MiG-31 planes are equipped with Kinzhal systems that can go 1,000 kilometers. I'm just wondering, is that within reach of our fleets? You know, so I guess that's the question. And is it a dumb one? I'm not sure, but I have to ask it because I don't know. And maybe there's someone else that doesn't know. I don't know. I was horrible with, I think it's geometry.
Okay. Well, here, I mean, you could see in this picture. So, yeah, we could use this one. You can see here, this is the Black Sea. This is, you know, the area of Crimea right here. You know, Ukraine is to the north here. And Israel, you know, is over in here. There's, you know, the Sinai. So our fleet is, well, we have some here right now. Some is on the way. They are, I would say they're more than 1,000 kilometers, because that's like, you know, 600 miles or so. Mm-hmm. They're more than that apart. But the reality is, in Syria, like right here, Russia has a major port. It's a military port. So, I mean, they have a major military port and a military presence in Syria. The U.S. has a military presence in Syria as well, and so does Turkey. And again, this is Turkey here. Now it's interesting because when we look to a lot of Nostradamus's prophecies, we see he focuses a little bit more, it feels like, on the Islamic invasion, as this is wanting to slow down now. You never know. Okay, there we go. He focuses a little bit more on the Islamic invasion because that was more fresh in their minds. You know, Nostradamus, Michel de Nostradam, he gave these prophecies mostly in 1555, is when he, you know, wrote his famous book with the quatrains in it. And, you know, at that time, there was still a strong, much more unified Islamic presence, and you had the Ottoman Empire and others. You know, the Ottoman Empire was centered in Turkey, but literally it was maybe 2/3 the size, half to 2/3 the size of the Roman Empire. So it was very, very formidable. And, you know, again, that being fresh, they were very, very worried and concerned about Islamic invasions. You know, again, we had the Crusades as well. So he does talk about a new series of Islamic fronts in this war that's to come. And, you know, Italy, which we've seen, you know, again, Lampedusa is like down in here on the way to Sicily. And we've seen thousands and thousands of migrants come and go like this. And then they come and they go like this. And what he says is, you know, these are the forerunners that come in behind the main lines and they start blowing up and burning down cities. We could see how that's happening. I mean, that's pretty easy and obvious to see right now. It wouldn't take much more before you would have that going on behind the front lines, because he does talk about also nearly 1 million men. And he mentions Arab Prince, and he mentions Persia. And again, that's Sunni and Shia. These are opposing groups, but the way he says it, it makes me think that he's talking about them unified. And he mentions very nearly 1 million men enter Egypt and also Turkey. And with Turkey entering, then they go on into the Balkans. This is the Balkan area, which, again, Alois Ermeiler, you know, speaks of an assassination happening here. What happens also in this war is that, you know, Rome is sacked and destroyed, and the papacy flees. And also they talk about great devastation from the seas. Again, the guides have told us don't be around the coastal areas in this time. They are going to be utilizing technology like tsunami bombs on a regular basis and all sorts of weather control. And it's interesting to see people recognizing this now, because they are recognizing this. I'm seeing comments, left and right on all these tweets where people are saying, I don't trust anything. I don't trust anybody. I don't know what to believe anymore. Well, that is part of the awakening. That's absolutely part of the awakening. We can't trust that. And then when we see these floods, when we see these earthquakes out in the middle of what, an area that we wouldn't really necessarily expect a major earthquake, and all of a sudden you got thousands of people dying, and it happens to come at a time when there's been some sort of comments or something going on geopolitically, people are starting to wake up. They really, really are. And here you have Representative Don Bacon caught serving as an advisor to a nonprofit with ties to the CCP-linked think tank. Yeah, this is it. Again, many of our politicians, well, really, many of them are on the CCP take. But at the same time, you do have some that are doing just the opposite. And again, this is Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Arkansas becomes the first state in the nation to force a Chinese state-owned company to give up its American land. What a change. When ASA, the former governor, was in there, he was just like a little puppy dog going along with everything 46 was doing. She's doing the exact opposite. She's, going against everything. And then you gotta wonder, is this controlled opposition, or is this legit? And so, Arkansas, your leadership has done a complete 180 there. And then here you got Gil Bates saying, I don't plant trees. It's complete nonsense. Are we the science people or are we the idiots? Yeah, talking about removing trees to save the climate. Well, the reality is, again, as we've shared with you guys, in the other ages, especially when we get to the golden age, the oxygen content, and you can look it up by science too, when we have rampant global warming, and yes, the seas the water level is much higher. There's no ice at the caps. The oxygen level is much more abundant. Everything is much bigger. And this is how we have giant everything, giant sloths, massive mammoths, saber-toothed tigers, and giant humans. And also humans that live much longer. Oxygen, O2. Oxygen, nitrogen, and again, carbon dioxide. Major components of the air, but the oxygen has such healing benefits. This is what it is. In Canada, again, they're making it illegal to have certain nutrients, certain vitamins. Yeah, it's just such a big reveal right now. It's such a big reveal. Here's another big reveal. Soros is closing global offices and reducing staff by 40%. Does this mean his evil plan is almost complete? Well, he does look like the Dark Lord of the Sith. It's still not his plan, but yeah, he does talk to non-human beings. I will give you that.
You have Bill Gates there removing all doubt that he is an insane idiot up there on stage. He's done that so many times. And then you have, the evil Lord of the Sith. He's just looking more and more his part every day. Everybody, they're all removing doubt when it comes to showing themselves on stage and, formulating their brilliant plans that they're going to take over the world. And I do appreciate the awakening that people are going through, although it is quite painful. An awakening is very painful. People have to they have to face certain things that are not pretty. They're not pretty at all, and it can cause a lot of trauma. That can really cause trauma, because then all of a sudden you look at everything in front of you and you're like, oh my gosh, what is real? What can I plant my feet in? What can I ground in? What can I have? What can I hold on to? It's very frustrating. It's very tiring. But I got to tell you guys, the way I got through it was to find mantras, find meditation, find breath work, because you learn to count on yourself and you learn to listen to your heart and your soul and follow that.
So can we understand how easy it would be to make these DEA, GEL numbers, and again, more and more people waking up to this. I see more and more people showing this, and I think the first time I did show it was back in 2018 when it was kind of new news. But again, these are NATO countries that get hammered and have massive decreases in population, like 70% or more, 77.1% for the UK. You know, that's a massive amount of loss of life if these numbers are right. Where do they get their information? DOD, CIA, FBI, etc., etc., etc. So yeah, we could see that we're on the doorstep of WW3, and I've always said, you know, going all the way back to 2018 when I first started to talk openly about this, that this is a war in which NATO is just not in good shape. It shows a massive loss on NATO sides, not on the BRICS sides. And so, again, the war has already been planned. The war has already been implemented. As you see, this is in San Francisco, of course. You know, I mean, look at these signs. Yeah, we have been so infiltrated for so long as a species. You know, we've just been kept in the lower frequencies on purpose to, again, be a food source and a resource. But humanity's waking up, and humanity is going to go where the controllers can't, because they truly are stuck. They are truly dead ends. You know, as much as they want to merge with machines and, you know, think that they're immortal, no, truly, we are immortal. We are consciousness. We're just having a temporary physical existence in a body. And this is not our faith. We know this. We know this. We have absolutely zero doubts of this. So this is why we don't have the fear of sharing this with you guys, because again, you know, this is just a ride that we're on, and it's a learning experience as well. So show love like these two. Give a hug today.
Definitely hug your pets.
And again, you know, feel free to come and join us on Patreon. If something does get taken down, it'll still be on Patreon at this point in time. And so far, thankfully, no signs of attack over there. Much love, source bless, and namaste.
Namaste.